Luis Diaz is the latest addition to an already sparkling Liverpool attack. But what will the former FC Porto player, a player who had the odds really stacked against him throughout his football career, bring to the Reds? Hey there, welcome back to Rabona TV for all of the subscribers, and welcome to any of you newbies who are joining us for the first time today. And today, we'll be diving into the career thus far of Luis Diaz, his insane come up in Colombia, his time with FC Porto, matching Messi at Copa America, and finally, his play style, his best attributes, the systems he's thrived in, and more. For an even more detailed look at his past, we've enlisted the help of Colombian and just South American football expert, Simon Edwards. Longtime subscribers may recognize Simon from a James Rodriguez video I did back in the day, but he's an absolute encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to Colombian players in particular, and his help was invaluable. So do be sure to check his writing out for the Libertadores and Sudamericana, linked below, and he's also the head of LatAm scouting and recruitment, so the man knows ball. Alright, let's get into it, starting back in 1997. Luis Fernando Diaz Marulanda was born in Barrancas, La Guajira in January of 1997. The village he was raised in was certainly not a metropolitan area of Colombia.
La Guajira is a region which has a large indigenous population. It's a rural region. It's beaches, but then it's very dry, and then it's close to the mountains. So it's an interesting area, but it's an area with a lot of poverty. A lot of underdevelopment. Luis Diaz grew up close to a mining settlement, living with his family, very simple background, 100 kilometers away from the nearest decent-sized town. And, he's living a very simple life, living with his family, going to bed every night, listening to stories told by his grandma. He didn't have a television in his house. So very, very simple background. He played football for the team set up by his family. His family kind of ran the village team, and he would play in that team every day. But it's a very simple background. It's a region of the country that has a lot of poverty. I think 40 children died of malnutrition in the last year. Tough place to grow up. And while I'm sure he'll say there were other people in the area who had it worse than me because he had a solid family supporting him, the chances of him becoming a professional footballer were very slim, given that at 17, he was completely unknown, playing in the village on dusty pitches and way off the radar of any clubs or scouts.
But Diaz would find himself on the radar of a certain Colombian football legend, which is about as good of a vouch as you can ask for. One of the names synonymous with Colombian football, Carlos Valderrama, was impressed by Diaz, who is representing Colombia at the Indigenous Copa America as he is of Wayu ethnicity. The Wayu are a people who, of course, are native to the Guajira region of Colombia. So, how did he arrive on the radar of Colombian football at large?
It was complete luck, really. Basically, Colombia were putting together a team to play in the Copa America of Indigenous people in Chile. So because his family were running the local football team, they got the invitation to send a few guys over for the trial. He turns up at the trial. They look at him and go, oh, this guy's too skinny. He's severely underweight. He's not really going to be able to play, but we'll let him join the training. We'll see what he can do. Obviously, he smashed it in the training, went to the tournament, got a couple of goals over there in Chile, was kind of the star player. Carlos Valderrama was involved in that team as well. And, he was doing some coaching, but largely it was as a figurehead kind of personality to kind of support this important team, which was representing the indigenous people of Colombia. And he goes, well, this is a player, 17, 18 years old, one of the younger guys in the group. So he took him to Junior, which is one of the big clubs in Colombia and the Caribbean coast, told the owner, this is a really good player, you should have a look at him. They looked at him, said he was good, but they said, look, this guy needs to put on 10 kilograms like today to even be able to get on the field.
It's incredible, isn't it? An underweight Wayu boy from a village in an impoverished region of Colombia who hadn't really played organized football up to this point in his life gets the backing of Colombia's most recognizable footballing icon and is suddenly thrust into the professional setup at a second division side, Barranquilla FC. In contrast to other players who make it professionally, Diaz was absolutely a late bloomer, only joining Barranquilla FC when he was already 18 years old. He was too small for the under-20 side and too old for the under-17s, but as a testament to his ability,
they actually put together an under-18s team specifically so he could play games in competitive competitions. Usually the age groups are mostly under-17, under-20. So they put together an under-18s team to give him some minutes. And then pretty quickly, he kind of worked his way up into the first team for Barranquilla, eating rice and protein for breakfast and, putting on a lot of weight over the time. You'll still see he's very lean, but he had to work very hard to kind of get into a condition where he was able to physically play football at a professional level. And then from there, he got in the Barranquilla first team, scored on his debut. Very raw at this stage. We're thinking of a guy who's played dusty neighborhood football and is now suddenly playing professional football, albeit in the second division. Initially very selfish, very quick, very skillful, but he very, very quickly adapted his game and moved over to junior, and then had 2 good years in junior and was off to Porto, where I'm sure you've seen a lot of him over there, maybe scoring against your team in Portugal.
Whoa. Hey, he hasn't scored against Benfica. Not in the league, at least. He has scored in some cup matches, though. Luis Diaz signed with FC Porto in July of 2019 for just €7 million from Junior Barranquilla. According to O Jogo, he nearly joined Zenit St. Petersburg, where he would have been joining his Colombian compatriot Vilmar Barrios, but apparently some of his other compatriots swayed him into signing with FC Porto. Porto has a good resume when it comes to developing Colombian talent. Freddy Guarin, Radamel Falcao, and of course James Rodriguez, to name a few of the most high-profile Colombian signings. And based on how things went with Porto and how they could yet go in his career with Liverpool, I'm sure we'll be adding Luis Diaz to that list as well. But anyway, his first season wasn't anything that would propel him to another club immediately or something like that, but it was certainly respectable and a testament to his outrageous ability. In his first year in a new country across the Atlantic Ocean, Luis Diaz still managed to score a very respectable 14 goals in 50 appearances, playing mostly as a left midfielder. On top of that, he added 7 assists. In the following season, the COVID season, he had a bit of a dip in his output when it comes to goal contributions, with 18 to his previous 21 from his debut season with Porto. Not a huge drop-off by any means. That season, he also announced himself in the Champions League with a goal against Manchester City on his debut. After the 2020-21 season, Luis Diaz was a central figure in Colombia's run to the semi-finals of Copa America, losing to eventual winners, Argentina. But finishing as the joint top scorer alongside a certain Lionel Messi is absolutely a feather in the cap for Luis Diaz. To say that he had exploded this season would not be an overstatement. And when you look at his numbers and just his general play, you can see why Liverpool pounced on his signing this January. From just 18 appearances in the Portuguese league, he scored 14 goals and assisted his teammates for 5. That's 19 goal contributions in 18 matches for a left midfielder playing in Conceição's 4-4-2 formation. He never went more than 1 match without scoring a goal in the league. But even when he isn't scoring, his style of play makes him a menace to his opponents. And with interest from Tottenham, Liverpool no doubt felt it was now or never with Luis Diaz, as his value would only increase as the season went on. In fact, Klopp said, quote, "This team deserved to add quality, and when we played against Luis earlier this season, we saw what a danger he is, how fast he is, and how his mentality was to help his team." As far as helping his team, let's talk about that. Luis Diaz's transfer to Liverpool was made official on the 30th of January for an initial €45 million fee that could climb up to $60 million with add-ons, etc. The usual transfer nonsense. So if you're a Liverpool supporter or even a rival fan, neutral, whoever, you no doubt will be wondering what you are getting when it comes to Luis Diaz. As mentioned before, he played as a left midfielder for Porto in a 4-4-2 formation, and he really hugs the touchline to ensure that Porto kept their width to stretch their opponents. The same goes with Colombia, though at times they would employ a 4-3-3 formation, so he would move up to more of a left winger rather than a wide midfielder. But when it comes to his actual play style and his best attributes... Now, Simon, I know that you're getting into some agency work here, player agent representation. If you were to sell him to a club, what would you highlight as his strongest assets? What could he bring to your team?
Yeah, I think first of all, he's rapid. I think he had the fastest speed recorded in the Champions League. So that's a good start, an incredible amount of pace. And it's also sustained pace. He can, we've seen for Colombia, at times in the Copa America, they were pushed back and they were looking for an outlet, and he was the perfect outlet. Running the length of the field, he can really sustain that incredible pace he has. Also, I think what he has is the unpredictable nature of his game, cutting in from the left, firing off really powerful shots. He's lean, he's agile, but he's got a lot of power in that right foot as well, particularly shooting from distance as well, cutting in from the left-hand side. So what I would say is he'll help in a number of different systems. If I imagine Liverpool will mostly be on the front foot, winning the ball in advanced areas. But he's very good in the transition with his speed. He's also shown at junior that, there were times when he was playing as a 10, basically. playing some smart passes. So what happens is, with his great speed and dribbling ability, which are probably his two key, kind of core assets and core skills, he also generates that fear in the defenders that give him that half a yard to play those passes. And he can play those decisive passes as well. So I think the key aspects to his game are his speed, his dribbling ability, and his powerful shots. But I think he can also contribute. There will be times where he'll make the wrong decision with the pass, but he's got the confidence to play some of those the through balls and those decisive passes to pick out a teammate. And also, for example, for Colombia, he's played in a 4-4-2 on the left-hand side at times, and he's put in a good shift in terms of work rate, in terms of covering defensively, in terms of tracking back. He's not naturally equipped to be a really, really strong, powerful defensive player, but he works very hard. He has good anticipation. So I think he'll be adequate to begin with in terms of contributing to that Liverpool press. And I think that he's got the raw ingredients and the attitude and the athleticism to become very good at playing as kind of that left-sided winger for Liverpool.
And that certainly checks out from what I've seen of him in Liga Portugal. I can't say that he's ready-made for Klopp's system, ready to walk into the first team and pick up from where he left off at Porto. Who knows? Maybe he will. Stranger things have happened, especially in his career. But no doubt with the massive change in system, he will take some time to get used to not only the league, but Klopp's style of play and what he demands from the players. One thing is for certain. In looking at where he came from and how he has met every challenge and passed with flying colors, coupled with the raw talent and the attributes that he boasts, the finishing, the skill on the ball, the ability to dribble out of cul-de-sacs, the work rate and the ridiculous pace, he certainly seems to fit the bill for what Klopp looks for from his attackers. And with time, I'm willing to bet that he'll be a hit at Anfield. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and if you learned something new about Luis Diaz, then help out the channel with a like or subscribe if you liked us that much. It goes further than you know. That YouTube algorithm is hungry, man. Aside from that, thanks again to Simon for joining me. Very much appreciate it, and thank you for watching. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and take care.